Dave, outlets across the spectrum of media are calling for Chris Cuomo's firing. Everyone from the Rolling Stone, who said if any other journalist had done this, they would be fired, to the New York Post editorial board, who writes CNN's decision Tuesday to suspend Chris was a good first step, but it needs to issue him his permanent walking papers. No, there's nothing wrong with trying to help one sibling, but Chris Cuomo's duty as a TV journalist was, at the least, to disclose what he was doing, if not to take a leave of absence. Instead, he duped viewers, traded on his journalistic ties, joined in attempts to smear accusers, and tilted his coverage on camera. CNN can't just wave this away. Dave.
Well, I would say first that sort of just the obvious guttural level, like, does this surprise anybody? This is how so much, unfortunately, of our news is brought to us by people who really are activists or are related to the people they're reporting on in this case, or have worked for former administrations, et cetera, et cetera. So it becomes this sort of insider game where everybody's sort of laundering lies together. You know, the idea that Chris Cuomo is a journalist, you know, he was posing as a journalist. It's sort of like Don Lemon will always tell you that he's a journalist. Now, most of you guys that I'm proud to be sitting here with today, you tell your opinions, and it's very obvious that you are saying, hey, this is what I think about this. Here's some analysis. These guys will tell you that they are journalists while they very obviously are Democrat activists. So none of these leaks seems surprising to me. As this is all sort of rolled out and I've had the info in front of me, it's like, yeah, of course, this is exactly what Chris Cuomo was doing. This is the same guy who at the height of COVID, you know, as his brother was putting all these people back into the old age homes, you know, he was making jokes with big Q-tips. So I'm not surprised. And as for what CNN should do, I mean, nobody's really watching anyway, so they may as well make a change just to see what happens.
And Dave, I actually thought that was a generous interpretation by the New York Post of Chris Cuomo's sort of liability here, essentially saying you just sort of disclosed it. But frankly, the allegations run the spectrum. He apologized in an email to response to his executive producer, who talked about a sexual harassment, a physical grabbing that he made of her at a party. That was literally the exact same thing that his brother was prosecuted for under his own laws here in New York State, which is a misdemeanor of forcible touching. So I think there's also a wider lens focusing on Chris Cuomo's behavior and his potential liability beyond the four corners of the television screen, Dave.
Yeah, well, look, this is the same guy who, at the height of COVID, again, pretended that he was quarantined in his basement, and they had this sort of WWE-style showing of him coming out of the basement, all sweaty, saying that he'd been down there. And then it turned out that actually a day or two before that, he had gotten into a fight with a bicyclist in the Hamptons. I mean, it's sort of theater what they're doing. And so, but that's, I really mean this. You know, CNN should just look at the numbers and go, well, okay, is this guy delivering us numbers? And the answer is no. So if you're running a business, I don't expect CNN to be giving us journalism. But if you're just running a business where you want to put on a program where they put advertising on it so you make some money, you should probably hire someone from Fox. I don't know if any of you guys are looking for a job, but maybe they'll take you over there.
No, I'm really happy here, but thank you.
I used to be there. No, thank you.
I'm good.
Chris Cuomo lost 80% of his viewership of his show this year. So Dave's absolutely right. If they're looking for the juggernaut to hold him in place, it's certainly not his ratings or viewership.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.